Family, what's going on? Today, we talking about the danger in creating your own illusion. Man, that's so deep. What's going on, bro? What's going on, Unc?
Man, yes. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm ready to make it happen, man. You ready to hit him, bro?
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. I'm just excited about the consistency, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Unc Cal and Dave Jones are the hosts of the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know, the name of the show is called Rap.
How are you, brother?
Man, I got to get back on my fly, man. I've been in here, you know what I'm saying, in these work clothes, man. I think that's why our views might be going down, baby.
Hey, brother, the
Like,
swag
man,
got to be on a million, brother.
Yeah, it ain't like they can see me from head to toe. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we like to feel ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to pull nothing and make nothing happen, baby. We trying to get home to the old lady, but sometimes you want to know you still got it, baby.
You got to remind him sometime, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But on a serious note, man, we want to thank everybody just tuning in, keeping us motivated. But cuz I had a moment, man. I just wanted to take time, man, to say, I appreciate, you working with me and just being thorough, man, with stand on me and me stand on you, man. And
Sir.
and what a lot of people I don't think understand about what we're trying to do here is, like what rap stands for. You know what I'm saying? Willingly responding as people should. Mm-hmm. What we trying to do here, we're not trying to talk to people and give messages as if we got it all figured out, or it's like, we trying to pour life on you to the point where we done been through so much, you need to listen and we got it, we know it all, do it. What we trying to do is focus on ourselves, tap in areas that we see shortcomings in, mm-hmm. we see things that we need to work on and change, and we're trying to change ourselves as we spread the positivity into the world, man, and receive more out of it. You know what I'm saying? Positive. Yeah. And that's just something in Detroit, man, that I think we need to grow in that area. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that needs to be a little more friendly or show a little more love and work on insecurities. And I think the biggest problem a person can have with themselves is to have things that they battling with or problems that they need to work on, and they're not even aware of them, and they steadily watch themselves run people away from them or watch themselves fail in different areas and don't take time out to look at themselves to say, wait a minute, I can't keep falling short in all these different areas and it's everybody else. Yeah. And see, that's the easiest thing to do with life. You know what I'm saying? Find yourself in a position where when everything going wrong, first thing you do is look at a situation, a person, you know what I'm saying? Or you playing a race game, you know what I'm saying? And this, that, and the third, because you want to find something to look at other than saying, wait, let me step back and examine some of these things that I may be doing wrong. And I think I think everybody as people should be their biggest critic. Not so much to the point where you just always beating yourself up, but enough to where you can put some mandates on yourself to focus on areas where you may be weak at or areas you may be falling short, to where you work on them and you come back stronger and you can correct some of the things that you may be doing wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I concur with that. I agree with that, man. I think as we are learning to be on and our candid conversations that are being publicized, that's ultimately what we're trying to get to. I think our whole objective is to be transparent with our own flaws, our own weaknesses, and the things that we discover, because we have attempt to try to figure out how to do this thing better. Is we just trying to pass out these secrets of like, this is how to, these are the principles that I got. This is what I did wrong. This is why that was wrong. And this is how maybe you can respond. And that's how I think we, especially in our culture, especially if fathers are not in the house or intelligent mothers, and we don't have any siblings that are working with us or loving on us through our weaknesses, we end up being isolated. We end up building by ourselves and fighting the world and all the things that's attacking against us. And we miss the key principles in life to actually enjoy and be fulfilled in life. And so I just want to concur with what you're saying, man. I think it's not about presentation. It's not about and you need to do this because I said it. It's like, man, we all struggling. We all got issues. How do we maximize life while we're here? You follow what I'm saying? And so that leads us to today's topic. We talking about the danger in creating your own illusions. And this is stemming from, I was meeting with a client the other day, and I asked them to do a simple thing because we had seen success in our coaching and things of that nature. And I asked them, since they had made great leaps, I say, hey, look, why don't you do me a favor? All these things that you're telling me, I appreciate the affirmation you're giving me, but just do a quick video and just send it to me. It had to be 5-10 seconds. Don't make it up. Just say what you actually feel. And he was like, okay, cool. I'll get to that. Now, this was like the second time I had asked him in different stages of the process. And so I didn't receive anything. And I went maybe another 5 or 6 sessions with this individual. And then we were having another good meeting. And so I like jokingly brought it up again. I'm like, hey man, maybe this time you can actually shoot me that video. And he goes, what do you mean? I already sent it to you. And so I'm thinking like, oh man, that's amazing. What do you mean you sent it to me? He's like, I'm like, I didn't get anything from you, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't get anything. He was like, no, I did. I emailed it to you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm glad that you brought this up because I was wondering, like, was it not good enough? And did you not like it? And all this stuff. And I'm like, oh man. And so immediately I had an epiphany. I stopped the moment because God helps me in situations like this. I always look for the positive or the benefit or how I should have seen this or what went wrong. And so because I too had my own thought process of he didn't respond, he didn't give me what I asked for, he didn't want to look out and help me out in what I was trying to do. And so I come up with all these different speculations of my opinions of what actually happened. And he on the other side, like he didn't like my stuff, he didn't appreciate it, he didn't value what I did. After he didn't ask me, I took the time to record something, copy it and send it to an email. And so here it is. We are speculating about what actually happened with false evidence. And when I'm talking about, the danger in creating your own illusions, like illusions is a thing that we make up that is likely is a thing, or I'm gonna read the definition. It's a thing that is or are likely to be wrongly perceived or interpreted by your senses. So it's like you come up with these things with false evidence that you can just accumulate and ponder on, but it's actually not happening. Here it is, this guy executed on what I asked him for, and I'm coming up with all these, he's not delivering, and on the vice versa, you get the point. But the bottom line is we all live in two different realities, and when I have a truth about him in my mind that is actually not factual. And so I had to challenge myself, and I said, man, I'm so glad that we brought this up because, and I told him, I said, we both thinking separate things at the same time, and they both were wrong. But in our mind, we could have argued it with somebody else and then created a negative connotation about you, and it was unnecessary. And so I'm like, man, there's danger in using your mind to create illusions and speculate about what not even happening. Go figure out, go ask the question is what I learned out of that, man.
Wow, man, that's so deep and powerful, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna bring it back around to the block. You know what I'm saying? Because that's so good, man. And that happens in so many different situations. And that's weird, man, because you be having brothers, you know what I'm saying, don't respond to certain things you expect them to respond to, or don't respond in a way you expect them to respond. And then you get by yourself, or you get away from, or you leave the situation, and you be like, man, they some damn haters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you thinking like, and even this situation, like, I'm like, man, this thing, it seems like we're doing this thing, and certain things don't flow the way I think it should flow, or ain't going the way it should be going. And then I run into people and they be like, bro, one of my partners called me, you know what I'm saying, last night, and he was just talking about some stuff. And right before he said, okay, I'll holler at you tomorrow. And right before we hung up, he said, hey man, I'll be watching you. I said, man, call me a little more often, man. Because he said he want to run into me today, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, man, call me a little more often, man. I miss you, and let's hook up. I said, I ain't seen you in forever. He said, man, I'll be seeing you, man. I'll be watching you on the internet. And I'm like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Kind of blew my mind, you know what I'm saying? Because in your world, you feel like what you're doing ain't working, or it ain't impactful, or you wasting your time, or, we jump out here and immediately we expect, hey, I'm finna be like Oprah Winfrey.
Quick. Quick.
Right? And you like, man, come on, bro. You got to build this thing, man. Where your
Man.
production team at, man? You working off an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? Where is that? Where that's at? So at some point, like I was saying, you got to step back and deal with yourself on some things. You like, man, hold on. I got to put money inside and put me a budget together to get this thing a little more professional, get my views up. I'm
Right.
sitting here, ain't nobody listening to me, but then I run into people and they tell you they listening.
Right.
Don't mind, you feel like you ain't doing nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Or
the
you're
same,
not impactful. Right.
huh?
Or you're not making an impact.
Right. And like
Mhm.
like I say, you take it back to the block, you know, you may, you know what I'm saying, you may not be such a braggadocious dude. I'm one of them cats, man, that man, life was so rough for me as a child that I can never be the one to pull up and try to stun on you. I can
Mhm.
never be the one to try to make you feel insecure about where you at in life. I
Right.
could never be the one to try to make you feel like I never talk to big money shit, man. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mhm.
never been me. I'm never whipping out a bankroll. I'm never, man. The old cats I came up under, man, that seen something in me, took me under their wing. They dropped jewels on me, man. Like, you know, money speak for itself when you walk in the room. It don't need no announcement. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know, it speaks for itself. You ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, it's a tool. It's a
Mhm.
tool. And once you understand what it's like not to have it, you understand how powerful it is to use. And it's really used to help people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And along the way, if you can see some of the things and the blessings that God allow you to see financially, materialistically, that you may feel like you will never see, then that's
Mhm.
what it's for. But it ain't to pull up and be stunting on people and trying to outshine people. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know, you might have things and you may pull up and then you don't get the response for somebody that you getting money with, or you don't feel like, you know what I'm saying, they happy for you, and you leave, you know what I'm saying, scratching your head like, hey, man, I didn't feel so like loving and cheering me and rooting me on. But then you may be off in the club a couple of months later, and you know what I'm saying, and y'all may be talking to some girls or talking to one of your man, and a guy may like, man, boy, my man got that spaceship outside. You know, like put it, and you like, wow, you know what I'm saying? And here I am just thinking, dog hating on me, or he ain't happy for me, but he bragging on me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and like, it's funny because, you know, I walked through Menards today, man, and I came across a gentleman, white gentleman, and he was walking towards me. He was real red, just looked like a straight, you know what I'm saying, what they would call a redneck. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Right.
He kind of looking me head on, ain't taking his eyes off me, and I'm looking him head on, ain't taking my eyes. We kind of have a stare off while we walking about to pass by each other.
Right.
And I'm like, man, and yo, in my mind, I'm like, look at
Mhm.
this racist cracker.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? As soon as I got close enough to him, he said, hey, how you doing today? How's things going? And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, man, I perceived that all wrong. And that so this is a real good topic, man, because I
Yeah.
think us as a people, we all do that. We all take these thoughts on, and we all have these perceptions, and
There
we
you
see
go.
things in our own way because of maybe our childhood and the surroundings we've been brought up around. You know what I'm saying? You got to be overly paranoid and thinking that the world against you because everything came so hard. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Some of our women, you know, they over checking everything that go on with their new boyfriend and their new man or their husband because they insecure about what the man did to them in the past, and one little thing you do symbolizes something they seen before in their past that symbolize you might be cheating and
Right.
doing a business deal with one of your partners, and you move wrong and he reaching for the pistol because he been robbed before, and you know, in the streets when y'all was doing deals, and you like, hold on, bro, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it's just, you know, it just gets so deep, man. And when you understand the story of the person, you know what I'm saying? Or if you don't understand the story of the person, then you can or cannot understand why people perceive things the way
Right.
they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's
I want to count. There's so many good points you hear, and I want to jump on all of them. God has given me some of them.
right,
It's like
right,
I think what I hear, bro, it's like we all have this protection mechanism,
right,
right? To where we use our creative mind to come up with speculations or opinions or illusions, really to protect our own self, to say it's the other person. You follow what I'm saying? That's at fault, and to protect her. You just brought up the example of like in relationships where if you see your spouse or your mate doing something that seems a little leery, you automatically resort to like maybe the worst concept of what could actually happen to already prepare yourself for defense of how you're
Right.
going to guard yourself in the story. And so in order to facilitate that defensive mode so you can already be on guard, we create the false evidence by pulling things together and making it a story that's not even reality. And instead of most of us having that communication or conversation with the people that we have potential issue with, we just lean on that creative mind. You follow what I'm saying? And we never get a resolution. And some people, since we never communicate, we separate from what could be a powerful relationship because we came up with a reality in our own mind that never was actually true. And so the point of all this is like, man, we got to be careful about our opinions. Like our opinions or our judgment does not mean that they're fact. They are not true. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you jump in. The definition of opinion is where you form a judgment about something that's not necessarily based on facts. Like that's exactly what it is. And
Man.
so we live off opinions. Like sometimes you just don't even have, like, I don't even got an opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's good. Like, I think that if I had to give a resolution to this reality, a lot of situations that you totally speculate on, it's just easy to just move your mind and say, I don't even know. I don't know what's going on. And like remove all that negative creativity. It's like, I don't even know.
Man, it's funny you said that, man, because I had a partner call me, man, out of nowhere. I'm working yesterday, and he FaceTimed me, blowing me up. So I'm like, I finally answered the phone. I'm thinking there's something, got to be something important. And they trying to get my opinion in family business. I'm like, bro, listen. I said, I'm not trying to form my opinion one way or another, bro.
Wow.
Why don't y'all handle that, man? I said, because I know everybody in this situation that you're talking about.
Wow.
And it's I voice my opinion, and all I have is your story. You're gonna go back and say, Cal said this. Now
Right.
I got your mom and your sister looking at me, who love me to death.
Right.
Like I'm either somebody got down on them or I'm taking your side. I said, bro, I said, that's something moving forward. I just don't want no parts in, bro. I said, so if you got to call me and you already got an opinion on it, you don't need me to amen your opinion, bro.
Wow,
I said,
man.
stick to your opinion and you handle the situation according on what you feel about your opinion. Because what you trying to do, you trying to deter dealing with this situation head on because you don't want to be a man about it. And you looking for somebody else to pull in to amen you and to be like your attorney to represent you to say what you scared to say, bro. And I'm not about to be that person. Now you got me looking like the bad guy while you inside your family looking like, okay, Cal said, no, bro. So next point I want to make, man.
That was powerful.
That's why it's so very important for us, bro, to not listen to what other people say about somebody else and block blessings. Right. Because we'll form an opinion off somebody say, yeah, man, that Cal, man, this, that, and the third, and woo, man, I don't like him. And you be like, damn, I know Cal, but I really don't know him, but I know of him, you know what I'm saying? And then when you meet this individual, you saying to yourself as Cal, man, this is a weird acting dude here. Why he acting funny?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And maybe the guy may come around you a few more times and be like, I done had this happen. I had one of my homeboys, man. He probably watching. I'm going to tell this story. He probably going to call me and we're going to laugh about it when I hang up. I had one of my homeboys. He was kicking it with this girl. And at the time I had this orange Corvette. And this girl will always be talking to me about him when they out. And so finally, a mutual friend, my man Mike Houston, bring him around me. He get to know me. And I'm hanging with this guy probably 2 years. And we riding. And he said, man, I got to tell you something. And I said, what's up? He said, man, I ain't even like you, man, when I met you. And I ain't even get to know you. And now we thicker than thieves. And I said, you ain't like me. What happened, bro? He said, man, I had this girl, man. Every time I was going out with her, man, I started to stop messing with her. He said, man, she'd be talking about Cal in the drop top orange Corvette. And he's like, one time I blew by you on Davidson and she like, there you go, woo, woo. And he said, man, I pulled over and put her out my car. So I said, what's her name? So, and he was telling her, she was talking to him like we was kicking it. And I'm like, what's her name? And so he tell me, I'm like, bro, I don't know her. So he think I'm trying to be cool to protect the friendship. just to just play it off because, you know, I know it's insecurity that he's saying he had with not liking me. So he think I'm blowing it off. And so I went as far to say, bro, you got a picture? Let me see. Bro, I said, dog, I swear to God, I don't know her. So he showed me the picture. He like, dog. I was like, bro, on my daughter, because at this time I only had my Kayla. I said, bro, on my daughter, I never seen this girl in my life, bro. She got to know me through one of her friends or something. He like, bro, you serious? I said, I'm dead serious. And he formed an opinion about me and didn't like me. That happened to me in so many different situations, man. So I'm saying, and my grandfather taught me this as a kid. He told me, hey, never judge somebody off what somebody else tell you. Get to know that person yourself, because the very person that may be telling you about this other person could be the problem.
Right.
And so I always that, man, and I always deal with people separate from what somebody else tell me. Because I'm like, hey, man, y'all need to handle that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any. Well, I mean, you know, I understand you venting to me about them, and I may even listen. But I'm not gonna form an opinion not like somebody because
it's so much wisdom in this, and I hope that we walk away from it, because it's definitely going to help me in my life, in my day-to-day just concept of just stop forming opinions, or stop using my creative mind, bro, to think to formulate ideas that are not based on fact or that are not confirmed from all parties that are involved. Because it's a waste of creative power, it's a waste of negative energy. And sometimes those are distractions that we use. And like you said, it can block relationships. It could kill potential opportunities because we take in our own opinion from false evidence, or definitely not somebody else's speculated opinion. You know, that's even worse. That's like grapevine. Like, you're going to take somebody else's opinion, you know what I'm saying? And then take offense off a situation that you shouldn't have any offense about. And I think that's where a lot of gossip come from. That's where a lot of, you know, things that we do, all of this stuff is ultimately, man, just distracting to me from what I'm trying to build. Like, in life, we all should be trying to either build two things. You should be building yourself, or you should be building something. That's what God gave us an imagination for. He gave us the ability to create things with our mind, to see a problem and solve that problem with the intelligence that we have. Like, that's what we are to be focusing on. If we're not building ourselves, or we're not building something, we're using that creative imagination to formulate fear, illusions, speculations, opinions, and other BS. And so that's your barometer. It's like, how can we use our mind to bring the things in our life to chase ourselves, what's inside of us, and how to create it, man? So I'm definitely taking this as a lesson. I'm glad I had the conversation with those of you heard in the beginning of this with one of my clients. Is just like, man, I am going to stop myself from having opinions or formulating opinions without having a direct conversation and asking the specific question. Not only with that, but even with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because we get attitudes and we create these whole stories about what she did, what she thinking, what she should know, and blah, blah, blah. And we have these whole arguments on our head without the other person.
man.
So,
Bro, so man, I have any misunderstanding and communication flaws with that, where you just take something away and you walk away with an attitude and you in silent treatment mode. And then when you get out of being mad, you talk about it later. And then this is like totally opposite of how you took it. And you like, I should have said something earlier. But man, God dropped one. Yeah, man. God dropped one on me powerful, man, for the people and for me and for you, man. And that when you was talking, man, we back in our pocket, man. We getting our fire back. I think that's because I got bro behind me.
What are you? Let's go. Let's go.
But yeah, but listen, man. God said to let the people know. That's why a lot of people are struggling with moving their head and trying to finish a lot of businesses they're working on and moving forward with even trying business at all. God said that it's a lot of people that have dealt with situations where they tried to get financing for things, or they tried to get loans, or they tried to make businesses happen, and they put in so much foot and leg work. And then when it came time for the finances, so many doors got slammed in their face, and it felt like they was being beat up so bad to where it felt so racial. It felt so racial to the point where it's like, man, I'm scared of trying because I feel like I can't succeed because it feel like the odds is against me.
Right.
So, you know, and I had a situation like that, man. And the God dropped this situation in my spirit before he gave me some revelation on that real quick to say what I just said. But what God had brought to me is one time I walked in Charter One. It was something else before it was Charter One. But anyway, I walked into Charter One, and I had been with this bank, man. I had a relationship so good with him. I had my business account with him for like 7, 8 years. And I walked in one day to do a transaction, and I got to the teller, and I gave her my slip, and I'm waiting for her to, you know what I'm saying, do what I needed to do. And she said, I need a second. The manager gonna come see you. And the manager come out, and she walked away. I mean, came out and walked up and gave me a cashier's check with all my money out my account on the check. And I'm like, what's going on? She said, we're closing your accounts. I said, you closing my accounts? She said, yeah, we closing your accounts. I said, what's going on? I said, I said, you ain't telling me nothing. I'm lost here.
Right.
And I'm like, not only is this messing up the transaction I'm trying to do,
right,
but it's messing up, you know what I'm saying? It's messing up a lot. I got all types of money coming out the accounts and moves I'm shooting. Right. So she said, sir, I said, can you explain to me what's happening? She said, the same way you have a right to come in here and close the account and take all your money out, and we can't ask you why, we can close your account and not answer no questions either.
Wow.
So I'm like, wow. But it made so much sense to me. I just shut down. I just got quiet. Okay. I call home. I shoot her a text. Like, call me when you get off work. That worked in the bank. And I'm like, what happened? And she like, let me call you back from another phone. So she called me back. She said, when you wired that money last week and bought that BMW out of Atlanta, she said the car lot you bought it from was being investigated by the FBI for financing terrorism. So I buy a car out of Atlanta, I get it shipped. I never even go to the dealership. I do the whole transaction, right? Basically, then wire transfer.
Right.
So I mean, wire transferring them money. They took me today because they investigated FBI for financing. They sent me back home financing terrorism. So the FBI jump on me, and the bank closed me out because it looked like I'm in cahoots with them, and all I did is bought a car from them, bro. So what I'm saying about this story, the reason I brought this story up is because I walked out of there, you know what I'm saying? Because now, you know, the manager who told me that was white, and I just walked out of there because at the time I was into flipping houses, and I'm banging, bro. Me and my man, Dobbins, me and my man Dwight Dobbins, we banging. So I'm running so much money through there. I'm selling cars and houses. Like, they hate it. Right. So all day I talk to this girl, I'm just feeling like they some racist haters, don't want to see a black man get no money.
Right.
So I tie that story in because it leads to what I was just saying, what God told me to tell a lot of us. You got to keep pushing. No matter how many doors get slammed in your face, you got to keep fighting, and there's somebody out there waiting to finance that deal for you. Just don't give up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's something I'm battling with right now, man. I'm so frustrated with, man, I did so many businesses, Dave. Some going, some ain't going, to the point where it's just like, I'm getting so older and content with just being more, what's the word I'm looking for? Having my priorities so much in order that it don't require much for me to live and be happy, because I'm trying to be financially free. I want to deal with the stuff that's bringing money in, make sure I don't have much debt. And as you get older, you don't want headache money. You don't want stressful money. So, you know, as you get older, when you experience things that will cause you to feel like doors being slammed on in your face, or you feel like the financial institutions are not set up, or in most cases they not, then it makes you feel like, oh man, I ain't gonna even try this because I know I ain't gonna get the funding for it.
Right.
So God dropped that nugget on me, man, to get to somebody, because there's somebody out there struggling with some brilliant ideas or some businesses they trying to do, but they just don't want to, you know, move forward because they don't have the faith that they're gonna get the finances. So I just know that word was for somebody.
No, that's awesome. I mean, and then the commitment to stay consistent with going, even though one party has their reasons for not executing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
Right.
think the power in just being committed to keep going is that a resilience is built. I was just having this conversation with my brother and sister yesterday about the trials you got to go through, especially being a business owner. It really is a lot because you're really in the business of solving problems all day, every day. And so you begin to, and the beautiful part about solving problems, most people run from problems. But the beautiful part about solving problems is you increase your mastery and intelligence of doing the thing that is the absolute equivalent to money. Money is a reward for solving problems. Like, literally, there's no business on the planet that is not solving a customer's problem. That is, you know what I'm saying? That is how you do it. And so when you face problems, running into loan opposition or running into employee problems, if you stay committed to that process, if we stay committed to that process, we build a mastery of solving problems and building systems. And what happens is, this is the point of that conversation, we become something that we were not. The money is the consequence, but you are the skill, you are the master. And so the joy is in the development of who we are, to be able to be faced with a difficult situation and not be idle by the storm. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a scripture that says a character trait is we need to have is peace. What is peace? Peace is being able to, in the middle of a storm, you having a grace that you are calm. Like, I know it's crazy. I know it's thundering outside. I know life is kind of falling, and I lost this. I got this debt here. I lost this deal, but I'm good. Like, we just gonna keep pushing. We just gonna keep going. And going back to try to tie this to the original point of this conversation of creating illusions, this is where fear comes in and doubt comes in. We don't have we use our creative mind instead of solving the problem. We use our creative mind to go on defense and justify why we should not move forward. Like, no, like, have a conversation with God, have a conversation with the God and somebody else. That's why I would need to call you, Cal, because I know God rests inside of you and open up a conversation. Man, help me see my way through this thing. Like, let God talk through you to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to get more than my own speculation about why this is not working for me. And this is why, more reasons why we need each other, man. Like, we all have the ability to go through whatever we want. It is not about capability. We all have the ability to produce whatever we decide to focus on. And we can expect failure and opposition along the way. But if we know that if we commit to the process and we don't create negative illusions, fear, doubt, dread as a result of what we see, it is inevitable that we will produce that thing that you want. And that's the story I tell myself when I have my bad days. Like, I just gonna stay committed. And I told you yesterday, and I'm gonna shut up. It's not about building, say the fastest way to build something is to build it slow. And so what that means is being patient with yourself to go through problems and not rush it and switch to something else. You know what I'm saying? Because we create these illusions that get us to think it's better over here. Like, no, the grass is greener on the other side is because they water it. So figure out how we can water our own grass. You know what I'm saying? I'm good.
So that was good, man. And I want to touch on 3 quick things, and I'm off too, man. We appreciate y'all for listening to this and chiming in, sharing y'all thoughts, and just, you know what I'm saying, helping us become a better us to help y'all become a better y'all. So listen, man, 3 things I want to touch on real quick. One was where's 2? Because I forgot one. So one was when you talked about the whole thing with solving problems as a business owner and a boss. Number one rule to being a business owner and a boss is understanding that you got to pay everything and everybody, and when the dust clear, you got to walk away with the crumbs.
Right.
If you ain't equipped if you got your mind set on how much money you gonna make this week and how much money you expect that you're gonna take home for what you got to do, you in trouble. Number one, turn the boss. That's rule number 1.
100%.
Number 2, and the other thing, you know what I'm saying, I want to touch on is, I don't know. I done forgot, man. I done forgot the last 2, man. That was on me, man.
You got to get the notepad out so you can jot. Because I'll be getting them notes too when you be talking. I'll be like, no, I need to write this down.
Yeah. And I had 3 of them that when you was talking that I want to touch on. and
Yep.
they didn't came and went that fast, man. But I held on to one.
Hey, bro, that was good enough, bro. Like, I mean, it'll come to you in a minute.
So
Just being in a position that you could, you know what I'm saying, fall in love with the process and don't let the opposition, you know what I'm saying? I know like be the thing that deters you from what you can have. Life is about being, doing, and having. Being is
right.
about what you can become, and that's a process of frustration. Doing is you just staying committed and consistent to whatever it is you're trying to do, whether you're building your relationship, whether you're building a business, whether you're building a friendship. You got to do the work. You just can't expect somebody else to do it for you. We got to get involved. God made us to do two things. He made us creators to create, and he gave us hands to make. We were created, create, and we were made to make stuff. And so there is frustration in that process. Once you create in your mind and make with your hand, you begin to have in your life. And that's whatever it is that you focus on.
Yeah.
And so, man, like if we can go through this life, man, and really prioritize and get our mind off other people, like I think we will get to so much more success. And that's what I'm doing in this season of my life. I'm really focusing on chasing me, bro. Like I got this
and
thing
I
written
remember
down.
I remember the last two after what that
I'm
said.
sorry. I know you probably can't see that. It say
Oh yeah,
chase me.
that's
Like that's
real.
all I'm doing. I'm chasing
Yes,
me,
sir.
man. Not nobody
Yeah.
else stuff.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right. So I remember the last two. One is we was touching on, jumping from thing to thing, and that's a big problem. I know a lot of us got. We're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. We got a lot going on, but we not putting our all in because we sucking a little bit over here. Then our men go to telling us what they doing over there and how they getting so much money over here. So you want to jump over here with them. So what you gotta do, you gotta find your pocket and stay in it. You know what I'm saying? And the last thing was when you find favor with people, especially people with financial, you know what I'm saying, stability, people that's really getting money. When you find favor with them, when they take a liking to you and bring you close to them, the very thing you should not be paying a close attention to is the money. See, a lot of people get close to people that's getting money, and then they get to watching their pockets.
Right.
And what they don't understand is they need to study like you said. They need to study the mannerism, the running their business. They need to pay attention to the fact that God gave them favor for this person to take a liking to them, to see where they doing wrong at in their business, to see where this person doing right. Because don't pay attention to the money.
Right.
Because if you got the system down and not so much you know what I'm saying, you riding somebody's coattail because you got to piggyback off what they're doing and run off and try to steal their idea. I'm saying if you get the system, you can take it and apply that system to whatever it is you're trying to do and make the system work. Because it's a system.
Yes,
it's a
sir.
system on how they customer service, the type of people they handle, understanding their weaknesses to where they put powerful people in where they weak at. It's a system. And if we understand the system, then we can take the system and we could apply that system to whatever we doing and make it powerful.
Man, it is, man. I look, this is the stuff that we are giving you guys, and I don't claim to be, you know what I'm saying, holier than thou or the highest of heights, but this is stuff that clients that I give that clients actually pay me for. And you talk about business, this is the last thing that I'm gonna say. And that's really gonna help somebody who's ready to hear, who especially who's building a business. I know we kind of shift, but if you think about business simply is you have to fall in love with creating a system that automates the execution of a process. I'm gonna say it again, and we may do a lesson on that because we both built businesses and we both building more. It's all business is. It's about you creating a system that automates the execution of a process that solves somebody else's problem. And so if you work on, like you said, going and getting systems from people who are being successful and figuring out how you can reproduce that in your life, you know what I'm saying? Like you could be so much further than many of us who are going to go through the frustration. And this is where we need to work with each other to help us through our weak points. Because a lot of times I would be trying to build a business, but I wasn't building a system. I was just hustling. And that's two different things. Like you can work hard as ever, but you got to figure out a way to build a thing that where you can step out of it and it's automatically doing what it's supposed to do. That's business ownership. And I know we digress, but man, I just heard that as you was talking, Doc. So I don't
All
know.
right, man. I think
Yes,
this
sir,
is great, man. I know it helped me, man, and I appreciate it, man. So much love, cuz. We're gonna
much
be at
love,
this
brother.
thing.
Y'all leave us some comments, man. I think it went well, man. It definitely blessed me, man. And we'll see y'all on the next one. It's a wrap.
It's a wrap, baby. 40
Willing
minutes
to
in,
respond.
it's a wrap. All right.
Uncle
Love
Cal and Dave
y'all,
Jones
man.
are the
Much
hosts of
love.
the show. We living in some difficult times, as most of us know. Let's lift each other up and put down the stress. If you didn't know,